the line, we are now joined by Dr. Bandile MASUKU. Dr. Bandile, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is, of course, not a good morning that we are going to be discussing this issue of over 1 million graves that the Gauteng province is planning to actually dig, to be precise, 1.4 million graves.
Yes, I think the issue is about the availability of the grave sites that are there, and that's the capacity we are having. And I think maybe just to rectify the point that it's not about digging up, it was just about demonstrate that there is capacity when it is going to be required.
Okay. Now, thank you so much, Doc, for that clarity, because definitely the message that we have been understanding all this while, it was just a matter of, that you are going to be digging. So this means that they will be ready, available for the burial. So we were definitely, of course, starting to be quite very much afraid that we might be like Brazil. So please do tell us, Gauteng has become the epicenter of COVID-19. Was this what prompted you to actually start preparing the graveyards?
No, it's not about the numbers. It is a work that has been happening. We've been engaging with funeral parlor associations since as early as in April. We also have been checking out the capacity of our morgue in terms of ice morgue, where we can be able to store corpses. And we've been working with our municipalities where they'll be looking for capacity in terms of burial sites. And this is work that is formed part of the planning for the pandemic and also the response. As much as we plan for hospitals and prepare and work building capacity for hospitals, this is a very uncomfortable part of the plan, which deals with the afterlife, and it's something that we are forced by the epidemic to deal with. But it's not about the numbers, it's not about anything. It has always been in discussion.
A lot of people are asking questions, Doc, that how about we probably maybe prepare new hospitals and making sure that we give, the doctors and the nurses, that some of them are obviously complaining that they have got an issue with, they do not have enough protective equipment. They are saying that we probably are wasting money more or focusing more on the negative, of course, instead of focusing on the positive, trying to maybe build more spaces, quarantine areas, and of course hospitals like China did.
For the past 4 months, that's what we have been doing, and I think it must be said that it's work that is continuously being done. It is our main focus, and it is what will be continuously be reporting on our capacity in our weekly provincial weekly media brief, where we give updates with the Premier. We've been reporting all the work that we're doing. So it's not something that is outside our focus. Hospital fields are being put up. We are building new beds and putting new beds in our facilities. We are employing new staff every day, and that work is continuing actually to happen. And this is by no way meaning that we are changing focus. It's just an important aspect of the response plan, which is very uncomfortable, unfortunately, but it has to be we need to indicate how far ready are we. And it's a matter that most of, maybe 3 of our media briefs, the question was asked so many times, are we ready with mass burial sites and everything? And we have been saying that we are working with municipalities to make sure that when the need arises, we need to be having that. And maybe lastly, to say that our death toll or our death rate has been quite low, so we are not even closer to where we can be able to have 1 million deaths in Gauteng only. But the issue that the capacity that Gauteng has in terms of burial sites or grave sites is that amount of 1.5 million.
Yeah, you did touch a little bit on a part of the questions that I wanted to ask you in terms of you are a medical doctor, of course, and when you're looking into the situation right now of COVID-19, what is likely to happen in South Africa as a whole? Because we have gotten the reports in the past that it was going to be way worse than what it is right now at this stage. And so far, we seem to have done quite very well because the predictions are not being met. So how does the status look like maybe for the next 30 days?
I think the most important aspect is that the modeling, actually, some of the modeling that was done was not quite accurate. But what made it not to be accurate was the issue that our lockdown did quite well in slowing down the rate and also slowing down the pattern of the spread.
Yes.
And what we are seeing now is that even Western Cape, for an example, there was a model that said that they will be having more than what they're having now.
Yes.
So whatever we put in as intervention, they continue to help us in reducing the effect and the impact of the pandemic.
Gauteng is now the epicenter of COVID-19. What do you think has gone wrong here in terms of getting more people infected on each day?
It's not something that went wrong. It's a natural progression of the pandemic, particularly with increased community spread that we're seeing. There are a few things that we have actually observed, over this period. I think moving to level 3 of lockdown has just increased movement around the province, and it's work that we were expecting that it would turn out like this when we open up the economy. You would know that before we moved to level 3 lockdown, we did see some spike around Merafong, which was related to the mine sector going back into operation, and where we started to see. So it's not about things going wrong, it's how the progression of the pandemic would have been.
MEC, you are, of course, a medical doctor. We will appreciate if you could share a message with our viewers at home on where to from here.
I think we could continue to hit the call of staying home, avoiding unnecessary movement outside in public spaces, only leave when it's necessary. And we should avoid organizing social events or social gatherings. And we should uphold the issue of the hygiene, social distancing, and when you are in public, you should be wearing a face cloth mask.
Thank you so much, Dr. MASUKU, for joining us this morning. We'll definitely do catch up, and we wish you all the best as you are facing this very giant pandemic.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was the MEC of Health in Gauteng, Dr. Bandile MASUKU, joining us right here, shedding some light on what is currently the situation in Gauteng. And of course, as we have heard, that the Gauteng has now become the epicenter. We'll update you just shortly with new details and the new numbers in terms of, COVID-19.